We welcome you in to a Thursday edition of the Bruce Hooley Show. I'm not going to tell you anything that will surprise you today because you've lived it for the better part of 3.5 years, the utter incompetence of the Biden administration. It's manifested itself in rising gas prices, rising grocery prices, war around the world that's escalating by the day. And now it is certainly glaring in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene in North Carolina and Georgia and Tennessee and the other affected states. FEMA has graciously agreed to give $750 to each person who lost everything in the flooding and in the ravages of Hurricane Helene, just like they gave $750 to the residents of Maui who were burned by the wildfires there. Too bad for those folks. They are not illegal immigrants because FEMA has doled out $640 million to illegals in the past year. Now, they say they have enough to cover their largesse to these people. But the next storm, sorry, we're out of money. Hard to believe, right? An agency that is given $20 billion by the federal government, and Alejandro Mayorkas, who heads that agency, you say, wait, wasn't he impeached? Well, he was by the House, but then, of course, we couldn't bring it to a vote in the Senate. Alejandro Mayorkas says this yesterday.
We are meeting the immediate needs with the money that we have. We are expecting another hurricane hitting. We do not have the funds. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season.
Well, that's a little bit of a problem. Is he right? Are they meeting the immediate need?
they're telling you is complete on the news, and these politicians don't include in their line. And I'll say this now, I'll say it at the end of the video. The only thing I need from this video is helicopters. If I have helicopters, I can save lives.
But he doesn't have helicopters, of course. And the reason he doesn't have helicopters is because Joe Biden didn't authorize until yesterday the military going in. 6 days. 6 days. The death toll is approaching 200. And you may have seen a story. Oh, wait, I read in USA Today a story about the rescue of an 11-month-old baby, Bruce. Military doing a great job. Really? Was it the military? Was it? Let's ask Jonathan Howard.
Without helicopters, I can't reach these people. It doesn't matter how many chainsaws and trucks I got. I can't get to them. They're 10 miles in, 20 miles, 40 miles in the mountains. There's no way to get with them or even communicate with them. I am literally flying around in a civilian helicopter looking for SOS messages carved in the mud or painted on the ground, and we're dropping down and saving them. What got me fired up about this was yesterday, me and my team did the rescue of that 11-day-old baby. And all these government officials and social media, they're showing that video, that pictures and video of that rescue, and claiming that like they have some like government help with that. And I mean, even USA, I think it was USA Today, wrote an article about it saying it was a Florida National Guard that went and got it, like with a helicopter. No, it was me, my buddy Charlie, and a civilian named Zeb with his own personal helicopter out of Wilmington, North Carolina. Like without that civilian, that baby would be dead. And the old lady we went and rescued after that, she'd be dead too because she had 1 day left of oxygen. No one was going to go get them. I will tell you, when we go up in the air, I probably see 40 civilian helicopters, and I might see 2 Blackhawks, National Guard, military, whatever they are. That's it. No one's out there doing rescues. I have my entire team up here from Florida right now, and they have no ability to go rescue these people other than what they can drive to. And the people that are in dire need, they're out in the mountains. They're completely cut off.
This is a deplorable response. Of course, the story will not be told by the mainstream media because they don't care about the victims. They only care about insulating Kamala Harris and Joe Biden from criticism. Dispatch writing today about a doctor from Ohio who was down there. He's a physician at the Wexner Medical Center. He's going down with a Dayton-based task force. 60 people in Asheville, North Carolina have died. Many more are missing. People can't get details on their loved ones because they have no internet service. One North Carolina lawmaker, a state senator, made a call to President Trump, who connected him with Elon Musk. And Musk has since provided as many Starlink devices as are needed so North Carolinians can reach their family members. Verizon, AT&T, all the big cell companies, their towers are down. Service has not yet been restored. The roads are out. 425 roads are out in North Carolina. 9 of them are interstate sections. So this is a stumbling, bumbling federal response. Of course it is, because Alejandro Mayorkas' Department of Homeland Security and FEMA are largely in charge of this. And illegal aliens who have flooded America's cities, increased crime rates, caused other kinds of havoc, are more important to the people in power. Why? Because those immigrants give them access to future power.
Partly sunny, warm afternoon. High today 78. Partly cloudy, some late night fog. Tonight low 50. Morning fog tomorrow, then partly sunny.
Now I will say, I spoke to my congresswoman down in Florida, and she
afternoon, the high Sunday 82, and then sunny, much cooler Monday, the high 69. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
Are you struggling to lose weight, exhausted by noon, or battling a chronic illness that traditional medicine is failing to find the cause to? You're not alone. At 35, I found myself depressed, exhausted, angry, and seldom having normal bowel movements. It wasn't until my wife and I found Revive Metabolics that I received real answers and real results. You see, traditional testing looks to treat the symptom with more medication, but with Revive Metabolics, we test for over 109 different metabolic pathways seeking to find where the glitch might be. With customized nutrition, supplementation, and lifestyle protocols, we allow your body to heal the way that it was intended. To schedule your free phone metabolics consult, call us at 614-781-8808 or visit revivemetabolics.com. That's Revive, METABOLIX.com.
Hey folks, Donald Trump Jr. here. Let me ask you this. Does inflation feel worse than we're being told in the news? That's because the official inflation rate doesn't tell the whole story. Since January of 2021, the cost of living has increased by 17.9%. You can't get that money back. But what you can do is stop your losses today. How? By diversifying your savings into a gold IRA from my friends at the Birch Gold Group. When you're done, your money will be parked in a tangible asset with proven history. To see how it works, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PREPARE to 989898. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust. They provide an easy process to roll over your 401k or IRA into gold without losing your tax advantage status. So text PREPARE to 989898. That's PREPARE to the number 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs from Birch Gold.
From the best-selling author of Wonder and the creators of Jesus Revolution comes Whitebird.
I'm sure your father has told you stories about when I was a young girl.
Hope can lift you.
You stay with us, okay?
Courage can save you.
You're the greatest person I've ever met.
Love can free you.
When kindness can cost you your life, it becomes like a miracle.
From the director of Finding Neverland, Whitebird, rated PG-13, may be inappropriate for children under 13. In theaters October 4th. Tickets and showtimes at whitebird.movie.
Quick question. Did you know that the conservative news and talk content that you're currently enjoying on this station and online is supported by advertisers? Here's another one for you, and this one is for our business audience. Are you aware that our loyal listeners eagerly engage with our advertisers because they know that these advertisers share their values and care about our programming as much as they do? Listeners, tell your favorite businesses about us. And business owners, contact us today to create and implement strategies that drive people to connect and engage with you, helping you grow and experience the value of long-term loyal customers. Join with us today to continue spreading the good word.
To learn how to reach our audience with your business's message and support this station, contact Carolyn Cassidy at 614-318-0401 or click on the Advertise With Us banner at 989theanswer.com. That's 989theanswer.com.
MyPillow.com prices have never been lower. Seems like I say that about every 3 months, and then I get an update and they're lower still, and they are, particularly on the standard size MyPillow. Used to be $25 during the $25 extravaganza, which was a rockin' deal. But now the standard size MyPillow is just $14.98. So if you have trouble sleeping because you have neck pain, you got to flip your pillow over in the middle of the night, you got to puff it up, well then $15? Like what's that? Like 2 coffees? Come on. Go to mypillow.com today. Use my promo code Bruce. While you're there, browse the other specials because it's not just the standard MyPillow that's on sale. Yes, you can still get a queen. You can still get a king size for $25. You can get sleep. Dr. Kamen from OSU is down there as part of a team from Dayton. Will be recovering from this hurricane for years. Move on to the next storm or the next, thing, election. The people of Asheville and Tallahassee and Valdosta, Georgia, and other places will still be rebuilding. There will be places just like we saw after Hurricane Katrina that are never the same. I got news for you, Dr. Kamen. It won't be a week or two that the news cycle moves on. It's like now they're moving on. Oh, wait a minute. You mean this is going to land on Joe Biden? It's going to land on Kamala Harris? No, it's not, because we're here to catch it before it inflicts an impact on the upcoming election. You know the mainstream media will move heaven and earth to save the Biden administration. No, wait, not just save them, to make them sound like heroes and to make them sound like they're on top of the situation, because, of course, Kamala Harris is running for president, and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, to hear her tell it, they've been on this from the very, very, very beginning.
The president and I have been paying close attention from the beginning to what we need to do to make sure the federal resources hit the ground as quickly as possible. And that includes what was necessary to make sure that we provided direct federal assistance. And that work has been happening.
That's an interesting way of saying we haven't done anything. We've been watching it very closely so that we can make sure that we do everything as quickly as possible. 6 days? Like 6 days? That doesn't seem very quick to me, nor does it seem very quick to Florida Congressman Corey Mills, who talks about the impact of the feds and FEMA and Harris and Biden, who order them around, not doing anything for those consequential first few days after the damage hit.
You're talking 6 days outside the 96-hour window where you really need to start thinking about, in that first 96, it's about rescues. It's about getting in, helping people within that first couple of days to be able to get them out of troubled areas. Now you're actually transitioning into what will likely be recoveries.
So the death toll is going to continue to go up. And that's not just unfortunate, it's egregious because it was totally preventable. Totally preventable. Back to the Florida National Guardsman, Jonathan Howard, who's not there as a part of the Florida National Guard. He's there because he realizes the dire nature of the situation and he wants to help. I played you 2 cuts in the open where he says, we need helicopters. Military helicopters, they're on the ground at airports. I'm in a civilian helicopter. We're fueling it with our own money. We're rescuing people in the mountains. They need oxygen. They need medicine. They need water. They need food. They're flagging us down. They're carving SOS into the mud. Where are the feds? Here's more from Jonathan Howard.
Now, I will say, I spoke to my congresswoman down in Florida, and she's a badass, and she made a bunch of phone calls, and now we got 2 contracted 60s coming up here tomorrow, which is great. I love that, but, like, I still don't understand why we don't have more helicopters. Like, we'll get a lot of work done with that, but there's there's no military. There's no one's doing nothing. It blows my mind. And they're not even allowing people to see what's really going on. One of our friends yesterday, they were actually escorting CNN down at Lake Lure, and they wouldn't even let CNN, the sheriff department would not let them go videotape the bad areas, how destructive it is. I don't know why they don't want to show you all that, but I mean, it is bad. I should also say, when I flew here on Sunday, they actually stopped us from going in, the sheriff department. And it was because of a bunch of politics that they were claiming was the Speaker of the House of North Carolina that was preventing us from even going in and trying to kick us out, which I have clarified today with North Carolina politicians that reached out to me, good on them, and they were like, that's complete. Speaker of the House has nothing. He wants you guys there. But this is the kind of political BS that is happening here right now. Like, everyone's trying to be in charge without taking any type of action. Nobody wants to coordinate with anybody. Everybody wants to pretend like they're being the hero while these people are literally dying in the mountains.
That's just utter incompetence is what that is. That's utter incompetence on the part of the Biden administration. She was at a high-end lobster roll fundraiser in Las Vegas. He was asleep on the beach in Delaware. Oh, it's 90 miles away. I was on the phone for 2 hours commanding. Well, that doesn't sound very good. Well, I was on the phone the whole time. Again, about people in rural areas. That's what this is. If this storm hit Atlanta, New York, hit Philadelphia, hit areas that are going to be deep, deep blue in the upcoming election. You see the maps, right? All the cities, deep blue, all the rural areas, bright red. Republicans appeal to people in rural areas because Republicans are, even though they don't do it perfectly, far from perfectly particularly on the issue of abortion, they don't spit on the values of people in rural areas like Democrats do. Here's a woman in Tennessee talking about the lack of government response in her area. Yeah, she understands it. She gets it. She feels the pain of the lack of federal response to Hurricane Helene. Hopefully the Biden administration will feel it too on 11/5.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. President Biden today tours the hurricane damage in Florida and Georgia. Yesterday, took an aerial tour of parts of North Carolina devastated by Hurricane Helene. He's dispatched 1,000 National Guard troops to assist in the recovery. Actively involved in private relief efforts, former President Trump, he's visited the disaster zone as well. The death toll approaching 200 across a half dozen states. Israel continues hammering Hezbollah, saying its forces killed about 15 members of the group's operative section during a strike on a building in southern Lebanon. 8 Israeli troops were killed in an ambush. In Ukraine, authorities say that Russia has hit another civilian target, a 5-story apartment building, more than a dozen people injured in the attack. On Wall Street this morning, stocks are in the red, the Dow down 216 points, and the NASDAQ is off 18. More details, srnnews.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-885-3333. That's 800-885-3333. 800-885.
Dennis Prager here, inviting you to join me on a cruise to the Caribbean this November. I'll share fresh insights about our world today, all while soaking up a tropical Caribbean paradise with you. Call 855-565-5519 or at PragerCruise.com.
ProView Remodeling, Central Ohio's one-stop residential remodeler specializer in the best sunrooms, windows, doors, decks, sidings, patios, porches, motorized screens, and more. Call ProView Remodeling today and get 60 months, 0 interest, or 25% off. Call 7 days a week, 614-756-3140. You win with ProView, 614-756-3140, or go to ProViewRemodeling.com.
Before the most pivotal election of our lifetime, the Battleground Talkers Tour comes to Columbus. Be a part of the critical conversations that will influence the direction of America. See Bruce Hooley, Hugh Hewitt, Mike Gallagher, Larry Elder, and special guests live on stage Tuesday, October 22nd at Genoa Church in Westerville. The Battleground Talkers Tour. Tickets start at just $5 and are available now at 989theanswer.com.
War has played a key role in the history of the United States, from the nation's founding right down to the present. Wars made the United States independent, kept it together, increased its size, and established it as a global superpower. Hi, I'm James Early, host of the Key Battles of American History podcast. In each episode, I discuss American history through the lens of the most important battles of America's wars. To start listening now, go to parthenonpodcast.com or search Key Battles of American History on your favorite podcasting platform.
News, opinion, passion. Here, 98.9 FM, The Answer, anywhere you go. With The Answer's mobile app at 989theanswer.com. Also on your smart speakers, TuneIn, or iHeart.
Allow me to echo what you've already heard once in this break, and that is an invitation extended to you to come to Genoa Christian Fellowship in Westerville on October the 22nd, a Tuesday night, for the Battleground Talkers Tour. We've done this event before. We did it 2 years ago when J.D. Vance was running for Senate. So we'd love to have you back now that J.D. is the vice presidential nominee of the Republican Party, and now that he turned Tim Walz into a big puddle of perspiration on the floor of their New York debate the other night. So who else will be there? Hugh Hewitt, Larry Elder, Mike Gallagher, myself. I'll be welcoming you. First remarks, and then I'll cede the stage to our own Jack Windsor and our fellow Salem Radio Network talk show hosts, as well as political candidates and political office holders. We'd love to have you there. It's only $5 to get a general admission ticket. Where do you do that? 989theanswer.com. VIP tickets, which gets you food and a meet and greet and preferred seating. We'll use the promo code Bruce25 to get $25 off those VIP tickets. Just make sure you're in the house on October the 22nd. Battleground Talkers Tour, tickets at 989theanswer.com. So we've covered in the first half hour of the program today the mounting scandal that is the federal government's lack of response to Hurricane Helene, where the death toll approaches 200 and where the military will not be on the ground and doing anything until today. And it sounds like 1,000 troops, 1,000 National Guard troops. It's not very much. You have heard from the Florida National Guard member, Jonathan Howard, who's up there on his own with a friend who has his own helicopter, and they're rescuing people in the mountains. Military helicopters not in the air, not allowed to be in the air. Ridiculous. That's the short-term view of Biden administration incompetence. The long-term view, well, we can read all about that in a report from the Inspector General's Office of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. See, most federal agencies have someone who is like an ombudsman, right? An overseer. Somebody who's supposed to watch and make sure that they don't waste money, fraud, abuse, incompetence. Yeah, you say, well, we need some new inspector generals. Yes, we do. Although it does appear that the Inspector General at the Department of Homeland Security is doing his job. It just appears that he can't get the other people who work there to do their job, because his latest report found a range of failures. I'll say a range of failures at the Department of Homeland Security and its sub-agencies. How big's the range? Well, think Montana Ranch that extends into Idaho and Wyoming. One of the things that the Inspector General says they failed to do was vet people coming into the country. Yeah, we knew that. Screen foreign nationals who it releases into the country. Yeah, that'd be a big problem if they didn't do it, which of course they are not. Let me read you just from this report. Recent incidents and disasters highlight the need for situational awareness through the Homeland Security Enterprise. Ooh. So it says it audited DHS to determine if it was sharing actionable information on emerging threats with other partners in the Department of Homeland Security. That seems like kind of an important thing. Let me go over the title again. Oh, it's right. It's the Department of Homeland, that's us, Security. Yes, maybe it would be a good idea to share actionable information on emerging threats. But the Office of the Inspector General found that this was not happening. And DHS partners, quote, did not always use DHS technology to obtain emerging threat information. This is after Congress had already called on DHS to issue a National Terrorism Advisory System bulletin, which it hasn't done since May of 2023. May of 2023. So you're telling me we're approaching what? 16 months where there's been no bulletin sent out about terrorists in the country from the Department of Homeland Security? Maybe they're out of money, like FEMA, which is also under the purview of Alejandro Mayorkas. Nope. Congress has allocated billions of dollars for DHS technology to enable agents to identify and share emerging threat information and maintain real-time situational awareness. However, the audit found that DHS partners, quote, did not always use this technology to obtain threat information. Were not always aware the technology had been modernized, did not always conduct outreach to support partners, and didn't always share information with partners in a timely manner. They probably had to get to the beach with Joe. As a result, the Inspector General says, Department of Homeland Security cannot always effectively share emerging threat information with partners, which may limit response to emerging threats against the homeland. Yeah, like what? How does this manifest itself? Well, have you ever tried to fly domestically in the United States of America? What's one thing you have to fly in the United States of America? Oh, that's right. It would be your ID. Is that the same for illegal aliens? No, it is not. You know, they are given a notice to appear. It's called an NTA, a notice to appear. Ah, you're in our country illegally. Here is a notice to appear. You must appear in court for a hearing on whether we should allow you to be in our country. Do you know that those NTAs come with a mandatory 10-day waiting period before the hearing can happen? 10 days. I'm sure that all the illegals who are handed an NTA stay parked right where they are so they can get back for their court appearance in 10 days. Aren't you sure of that? Well, if you are sure of that, allow Brandon Judd, former head of the Border Patrol Union, to set you straight on how it really works.
It's extremely frustrating to every single Border Patrol agent and anybody that wants border security, because this is a policy decision. You're going to constantly hear Vice President Harris say that we need immigration legislation. She's going to talk about that border bill. And while we do need immigration legislation down the road for border security, we have to look at what is going on right now. What are the policies that she can change right now in the immediacy? And this is a policy decision that has allowed us to put people throughout the entire United States. These people are being given an NTA, using that NTA to fly, where a United States citizen would never be able to do that. We have to have proper identification. I personally have interviewed these individuals, issued NTAs, and I know that they're lying to me about their name, but because we can't properly vet these individuals, we have to go with what they're giving us. This is a very dangerous situation, and the IG got it absolutely correct.
Yeah, it is a very dangerous situation. I've said before, we're headed for our own October the 7th. There is no doubt in my mind of that. And if Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, Dumb and Dumber, are in the White House when that happens, there would be poetic justice in that, because it would land on her. You and I both know if it happens when Trump is in office, it will somehow be Trump's fault. Like everything is Trump's fault. Brandon Judd with more, saying this administration absolutely positively does not want to fix this problem.
I met with Secretary Mayorkas multiple times early in 2021 and gave him the policies that he could implement immediately to stop all of this. They completely and totally rejected those policies. They were surge immigration judge to the border right now. Take the people that come in first and have their immigration hearings right then and remove them because they don't have legitimate claims. And those that have legitimate claims, we could then adjudicate that. We gave them all of the policy decisions that they needed that would help this situation. They completely rejected. And that's why you have to look at all the rhetoric that is coming from Vice President Harris right now and know that it is absolutely disingenuous because she could do what's necessary. But right now, there are so many things that they can do. They know that they can do them, but they just reject everything.
Now, you know there's a big backup, right? They've let millions in, so there's a huge backup. You got a 10-day notice to appear. Not enough judges to do that in 10 days. So everything gets pushed back. Brandon Judge has a fix for that, but the government, of course, doesn't want to do it.
If they went with the last in, first out idea, then we would be able to detain these people, because once you start removing them, they stop coming. So while the numbers are so high right now, they're high because we're releasing them. Once you detain them and remove them, they stop coming, and they come, and then we have a manageable level of people. It's all about what you do on the front end. If you do it right on the front end, you don't have to deal with all of these numbers. That's what they're refusing to do. We could get this under control tomorrow if we had the proper policy.
Yeah. Hey, Felipe, what are you doing back here? I thought you went and crossed the border and got into America. You've only been gone 10 days. Yes, because they held my hearing right away and they deported me. So I would suggest you not try. But when Felipe and his cohorts wait around for 3 years and probably never show up for their hearing and embed themselves somewhere in the country where they wreak mayhem, not all, but some of them. The cases are well known: Laken Riley, Ruby Garcia, Jocelyn Nungaray, Rachel Morin. I bet I just named 4 murder victims of illegal aliens. I bet I got 4 off the top of my head, and Joe Biden couldn't name you 2. And Kamala Harris couldn't name you 2. Because theirs is a see no evil administration, even though everything they do is evil.
Partly sunny, warm afternoon. High today 78. Partly cloudy, some late night fog. Tonight low 50. Morning fog tomorrow, then partly sunny and warm. The high at 79. Clouds and sun. Warm day on Saturday. Very nice start to the weekend. High Saturday afternoon 77. Sunny clouds, breezy on Sunday. A thunderstorm for the afternoon. The high Sunday 82. And then sunny, much cooler Monday. The high 69. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. Call 800-823-5544. That's 800-823-5544. 800-823-5544.
When it comes to safety, don't settle for anything less than the best. At Elite Fire Services, we protect what matters most, your business and your peace of mind. Our expert team provides top-notch fire safety inspections, and we service fire extinguishers, fire sprinkler systems, backflow preventers, fire alarms, kitchen hood suppression systems, and exit lighting. Visit elitefire.org today to get a free quote and ensure your fire safety is in elite hands. Because when it comes to protection, you deserve the best. Elite Fire Services, your safety is our mission. As a local business owner, you get called every week by marketing companies. We get it. We have hundreds of satisfied customers. Here's what a satisfied client recently said.
Open enrollment is going great. We're hitting record numbers. Thank you so much for this report. It really is amazing to see how the marketing is really shaping our enrollment around the city.
If you're a local business and ready to take the next step, Google Salem Surround Columbus right now. Our experts are ready to help you take your marketing to the next level. Google Salem Surround Columbus today.
The Caribbean is calling. Dennis Prager here, and I invite you to join me on a Caribbean cruise this November. Imagine 9 days of basking in the sun surrounded by the stunning beauty of a tropical paradise. We'll cruise the vibrant islands of Half Moon Cay, Curacao, Bonaire, Aruba, and more. Stroll through Curaçao's iconic pastel-colored shops and snorkel in Bonaire's world-class coral reefs. You'll enjoy some of the most delicious cuisine aboard Holland America's Rotterdam, a fantastic destination itself, this ship, with riveting shows and breathtaking views. We'll be joined by a special guest, Sean McDowell, and we'll both share fresh insights. We'll have dialogue on religion, current events, happiness, and our future in America in light of the election. November 29 to December 8th. Secure your spot today by calling 855-565-5519 or book online at pragercruise.com.
Planning for retirement is no small task. If you don't know where to start, join Rodney Peters of Peters Wealth Group every Saturday at 10 and 2 for Retire Ready Ohio. Rodney shares helpful tips and strategies that just might change the course of your retirement. Listen every Saturday at 10 and 2 to Retire Ready Ohio with Rodney Peters of Peters Wealth Group. The firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services are offered through Peters Wealth Group, a state-registered investment advisor.
QC Kinetics might be your ticket to a pain-free life. How good does that sound? Wow, you know, when you are out cleaning up the sticks in your yard after the winds that blew in last weekend during the vestiges of Hurricane Helene, ooh, that back flares up, right? And maybe it's when you golf or when you walk or when you bike or whatever you do. Maybe just getting up out of a chair is painful. If only your body had enough platelets in the areas where you are feeling arthritis pain or other pain. Your body makes those healing agents. You may just not have enough of them in the area where you are impacted. That is where my friends at QC Kinetics come in. They are specialists in advanced regenerative therapy, which is withdrawing your blood, concentrating the platelets, injecting them back in your body at strategic intervals so you can get relief. Free consultation. You have nothing to lose. I'd call and set up my appointment today. 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. We do a segment every day at 12:20 called Today in Crazy. This whole first hour could be Today in Incompetence, starring the Biden administration. First, its feckless response to the flooding in North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, Florida. Second, the Inspector General's report from the Department of Homeland Security that came out yesterday, lighting up how, like, what are they doing at Homeland Security? Not news. You say, well, I've heard it before, millions of money. Yeah, I get it, Bruce. No, they're not even talking to each other. They're not even attempting to do anything about it. And the fixes are easy and they refuse to do them. And then they talk tough and they want you to vote for them because, oh, we're not going back. Well, I sure hope we're not going back to another Biden administration, but it is baffling to me that the polls appear to be neck and neck. And look, they wouldn't let Trump win in 2020. Okay, before you say I got a tinfoil hat on, this is something I wish J.D. Vance had done the other night in the debate. Instead of just saying and dismissing January 6th by saying, well, look, we all have questions about the election, he would have said, well, you know, we hope there won't be a water leak in Atlanta this time after they start counting the votes. We hope they won't have to put up paper on the windows in Detroit to keep people from seeing what's going on at the Board of Elections. We hope in Pennsylvania that they'll actually, you know, observe the deadline for the submission of ballots and not count them after they come in beyond that deadline. I mean, that would have been fine for J.D. Vance to say, oh, election denier. Well, so those are the first two topics we've covered today on the Biden administration's incompetence. But wait, like an infomercial, there's more. The dock strike on the East Coast, 36 ports, stretching down from Maine all the way to Texas, is in its second day. 45,000 poor, put upon international longshoremen's workers are on strike. And I mean, they're motivated because you see them on the news. They're all like chanting and screaming and yelling, and they all got to the docks. There's hundreds of them. And apparently, I'm guessing they all got there on horseback, because since one of their contract demands is no more automation, and none of them are certainly driving cars or SUVs to the docks, right? And if they have to get in touch with their loved ones to let them know what time they'll be home for dinner, first of all, that dinner will apparently have to be cooked over an open fire, not in a stove or, heaven forbid, a microwave. And I assume, you know, they're communicating with the wife and the kids via what, telegraph? Because they're not going to use a cell phone. I mean, they're against automation. They're not going to use a cell phone, of course. Joe Biden was asked yesterday, why aren't you fixing this? You've got Taft-Hartley. You could order him back to work for 80 days in a cooling off period so the American economy wouldn't suffer and prices wouldn't go back up, which they certainly shortly will. Here is a presumably still alive Joe Biden responding to that.
Do you have a view on the workers' fight for restrictions on technology or automation for the golf workers?
No, look, this is sit down and talk. Because I remember we negotiated a similar strike on the West Coast before, and they worked it out. It's time they won't even talk, so let's get that done.
Let's sit down and talk, because you know that worked out so well between Hamas, Hezbollah, and Israel. The whole send Antony Blinken in there. He's done such a phenomenal job keeping the world from catching fire. Here's Steve Scalise, Republican congressman, almost shot to death by a Bernie Sanders supporter. But don't mention that, of course. Steve Scalise noting what Joe Biden could do that he will not do.
Yeah, right now, under the law, Taft-Hartley allows the president to intervene and break it. President said, we're just going to let it go on and wreck the economy. I mean, we're losing over $5 billion a day, and costs are going to start going up even higher on families who are already struggling under the Biden-Harris inflation economy. Food on the shelves is going to become more scarce.
Oh, goody. Hey, we all got a view of that during COVID, and we all certainly are familiar with high prices during the 9% inflation in the summer of 2022. What does Congressman Steve Scalise think of the dock workers' demand that they not automate the docks going forward?
You look at Congress, I mean, in the House, we're surely not going to support some kind of deal that says no automation. Imagine that. They want to go back to the Flintstones. I mean, I would bet you they've got more technology and automation in their homes, in their refrigerator, in their smart TV than they want to have on a dock. When we're competing globally, we're not just competing one city against another. You know, you've got ports all around the world of humans, by the way, who actually run the devices. These automated devices aren't running themselves, but they're already making with overtime over $200,000 a year in some cases, and they want to shut the economy down to get more at somebody who pays for this. And this will add even more to inflation. There are a lot of families making $50,000 a year that are saying, please stop adding to the costs, and Biden and Harris won't do anything.
Now, is Steve Scalise right or wrong there? I mean, these dock workers, they get $39 an hour, which translates to $81,000 a year. And yeah, if you live on the East Coast and the inflation is high, it's not like they're living high off the hog. Or wait, are they? Maybe we should consult the numbers that are provided to the U.S. Census Bureau. More than 3,700 dock workers at the Port of New York and New Jersey earn more than $150,000 in the fiscal year that ended in 2020. Okay, so I imagine their income has gone up since then. About 1 in 5 dock workers at the port earn more than $250,000 a year. 18 dock workers brought in more than $450,000 a year, which is more than Joe Biden makes for sleeping on the beach. The real median income for Americans in 2022 was just shy of $75,000. And then there's this, because of course it's a union. So you will not be surprised, because it seems to me like with the auto workers and every other union, collective bargaining over the years, and the people who own always giving a little bit more to avert a strike, we get in a situation like this. Here's a quote from the U.S. Census Bureau report. Every terminal within the port still has special compensation packages given to certain international longshoremen workers, the majority of whom are white males connected to organized crime figures or union leadership. Oh. Based on the industry's reported figures, the commission has again identified over 590 individuals who collectively received over $150 million last year in outsized salaries or for hours they never worked. The report noted these special packages were not memorialized in the applicable collective bargaining agreements. Oh, is that right? Rather than eliminate or cap them, the Port Authority and the longshoremen negotiated a 2013 Memorandum of Settlement of Local Conditions. Longer the title. That guarantees special packages to certain people. Those individuals are paid for hours not worked or hours worked by others as long as they are in the port for 40 hours per week. Wow, isn't that special? Look, I'm not anti-union. My father was a member of a union. My mother's a member of a union. I've been a member of a union. But you got to understand when you are in a union that the business has to survive for you to have a job. And for Harold Daggett, the head of the International Longshoremen, to live in a posh mansion, which the New York Post disclosed yesterday that he does, to drive a Bentley, to make $900,000 last year, and then to threaten that you're going to shut down the American economy? That's a bad look, dude.
After 31 years in Washington, just how much has Sherrod Brown changed? When he first wanted our vote, he said this.
My allegiance will be to Ohio and to the communities in Ohio.
To Ohio? Sherrod Brown voted for amnesty for 11 million illegal immigrants, and he voted to give them taxpayer-funded benefits, like free health care to illegals who get amnesty, Social Security checks, COVID relief checks, all to be paid for by you. And Sherrod Brown's open border policies have led to more fentanyl, dangerous gangs, even terrorists pouring into our country. So when Sherrod Brown says this,
my allegiance will be to Ohio and to the communities in Ohio.
Don't listen to what Sherrod Brown says. Watch what he does. Because Sherrod Brown doesn't vote for Ohio anymore. He's way too liberal for Ohio. American Crossroads paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. AmericanCrossroads.org.
Find us at 989theanswer.com. Download our apps. Stream us 24/7. WTOH and WTOH HD1, Upper Arlington, Columbus.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. President Biden today will travel to 2 more states hit hard by Hurricane Helene. White House correspondent Greg Clugston has the report.
After traveling to North and South Carolina yesterday to survey storm damage and meet with officials, the president heads to Georgia and Florida today. He's pledging federal assistance to help communities and families rebuild and says it'll cost billions of dollars. Mr. Biden also directed up to 1,000 active duty troops to help with response and recovery efforts. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Forecasters say Tropical Storm Leslie has formed in the eastern Atlantic Ocean and could strengthen into a hurricane by the weekend. There were no coastal watches or warnings in effect, and that storm system was not yet deemed a threat to land. Also at townhall.com, the number of Americans applying for unemployment benefits rose modestly last week.
The Labor Department reports applications for jobless claims rose by 6,000 to 225,000 for the week ending September 28th. It was slightly more than the 221,000 analysts were expecting. The 4-week average of claims fell by 750 to 224,250.
Correspondent Jeremy House, the report said that the total number of Americans collecting jobless benefits was down by 1,000 to about 1.83 million for the week of September 21st. Some manufacturers and retailers are urging President Biden to invoke a 1947 law as a way to suspend a strike by 45,000 dock workers that has shut down 36 U.S. ports from Maine to Texas. It's known as the Taft-Hartley Act. Biden has said, though, that he won't intervene in the strike. The Dow dropping 154 points. The NASDAQ is ahead 25. More at townhall.com.
All right,
Partly sunny, warm afternoon. High today 78. Partly cloudy, some late night fog. Tonight low 50. Morning fog tomorrow, then partly sunny and warm. The high at 79. Clouds and sun. Warm day on Saturday. Very nice start to the weekend. High Saturday afternoon 77. Sunny clouds, breezy on Sunday. A thunderstorm for the afternoon. The high Sunday 82. And then sunny, much cooler Monday. The high 69. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
Bad decisions limit future options. Make enough bad decisions and you will destroy your life. Listen to The Flock Line with your host Rick Hughes every Sunday morning at 8 here on 98.9 FM The Answer. The Flock Line describes a main line of resistance in your soul built on God's Word. Join us every Sunday for 30 minutes of inspiration, motivation, education, all without manipulation. That's The Flock Line with Rick Hughes. Sunday mornings at 8, right here on 98.9 FM The Answer.
With SRN Sports, I'm Jeremy House. Major League Baseball in the American League Wild Card Series, the Kansas City Royals beat the Baltimore Orioles 2-1 to complete a two-game sweep and earn a berth in the ALCS against the New York Yankees.
Bobby Witt Jr. beat out an infield single in the top of the sixth inning to score the go-ahead run. Vinny Pasquantino gave the Royals the lead with an RBI single in the first. It stayed that way until Cedric Mullins tied the game with a solo homer off Seth Lugo in the fifth. The Royals used 5 relievers to shut it down, with Anhil Serpa getting the win and Lucas Ursek getting his second save in as many days.
That's correspondent Craig Heist reporting. Elsewhere, Andy Ibanez hit a tie-breaking 3-run double in Detroit's 4-run 8th inning, and the Tigers swept the Houston Astros with a 5-2 victory in Game 2 to move on to the next round against the Cleveland Guardians. This is SRN Sports. Staying with baseball in the National League Wild Card Series, Kyle Higashoka's solo home run started a 5-run rally against Max Fried. With 2 outs in the second inning, the San Diego Padres held on to sweep the Atlanta Braves with a 5-4 win in Game 2 to move on to play the LA Dodgers. Elsewhere, Jackson Chourio tied the game in the 8th with his second home run of the night. And meanwhile, Garrett Mitchell delivered a 2-run shot later in the inning to give the Milwaukee Brewers a 5-3 victory over the New York Mets that even their NL Wild Card Series at a game apiece. Game 3 will be today in Milwaukee. In NFL news, the Buffalo Bills have grown accustomed to spending the first month of the season leaning on backups, stepping up on a depleted defense. Will definitely be further tested when they play the Houston Texans Sunday without Von Miller. This is SRN Sports.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Hey everyone, Charlie Kirk here. Did you know that 80% of adults take supplements to feel our best, right? One thing your dog can't do without you is improve their diet or health to feel their best. That's why I believe Rough Greens could dramatically help your best friend by adding what's missing to their diet like you do. Rough Greens is helping thousands of dogs feel better and live longer, including my dog who loves it. Naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, who created Rough Greens, is also an airborne ranger and Green Beret, an amazing background. He loves dogs, and he's on a mission to help as many as he can. Listen carefully, dog food is dead food. Rough Greens supplements your dog's food with essential vitamins and minerals, omega oils, digestive enzymes, probiotics, and antioxidants. Dr. Black is offering a free Jumpstart trial bag to get back their energy, improve elimination, and get rid of itching, scratching, achy joints, and bad breath. Fetch your free Jumpstart trial bag. Just cover shipping. Don't change your dog's food. Just add Rough Greens today. That is ruffgreens.com/Kirk. And naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, to check it out. And if you are a cat owner, check out Meow Greens. That's all you can find it at ruffgreens.com/Kirk.